The rivalry between Youngin Ace and Julio Foolio is infamous within the Jacksonville rap scene, characterized by a series of violent exchanges and incendiary diss tracks. The murder of Julio Foolio on June 23, 2024, marks the most significant and tragic escalation in this ongoing feud. This documentary aims to present evidence suggesting Youngin Ace's direct involvement in Foolio's death, drawing connections between Ace's provocative lyrics and the real-life events surrounding the murder. The long-standing feud between Youngin Ace, ATK, Ace's top killers, and Julio Foolio, KTA, Kill Them All, has deep roots in Jacksonville's street culture. This rivalry has been marked by numerous violent incidents and retaliatory attacks, often glorified and propagated through their music. In 2021, Youngin Ace released Who I Smoke, a track that ignited widespread controversy due to its mocking of deceased KTA members. The song features Ace and his associates disrespecting their rivals, using the melody of Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles to deliver their taunts. This provocative approach not only angered Foolio and his crew, but also drew significant media attention, escalating the conflict further. Foolio responded with When I See You, a track that samples a news report about the killing of Ace's brother and friends. The song's video features Foolio standing in front of a banner with the photos of Ace's deceased loved ones, further fueling the animosity between the two camps. This exchange of diss tracks turned their rivalry into a highly publicized spectacle, with each song contributing to the cycle of retaliation and violence. The impact of these songs on the Jacksonville rap scene was profound. They not only heightened the tension between ATK and KTA, but also drew national attention to the dangerous intersection of music and gang violence. This backdrop sets the stage for the tragic events that unfolded on June 23, 2024. The events leading up to Julio Foolio's murder on June 23, 2024, positioned him in a particularly vulnerable state. Foolio, celebrating his 26th birthday, had initially been staying at an Airbnb. However, due to occupancy violations, he was forced to relocate to a nearby Holiday Inn. Around 5 a.m., Foolio and 3 others were ambushed in the hotel parking lot. Exclusive footage obtained by TMZ reveals the chaotic aftermath, bullet-riddled cars and paramedics rushing to attend to the injured. Foolio was pronounced dead at the scene, while the other 3 victims were hospitalized with non-fatal injuries. The crime scene, as depicted in the TMZ footage, shows a black sedan with its front completely shot up, indicative of an intense shootout. The presence of another car, seemingly untouched, adds a layer of mystery to the incident, with police continuing to investigate its role in the ambush. Eyewitness accounts and surveillance footage are crucial in piecing together the sequence of events that led to this violent attack. Now this is where it gets juicy. Youngin Ace's song Game Over contains lyrics that eerily foreshadow the details of Julio Foolio's murder, raising questions about whether these lyrics were a direct taunt to Julio and his gang after the murder. 5 in the morning, I got a call. What is this? Dead on the floor, dead on arrival, Mr. Six. This line from Game Over corresponds precisely with the timing of Foolio's ambush, which occurred around 5 a.m. The reference to Mr. Six is widely believed to be a direct mention of Foolio, given the context of their rivalry. 4 in the car and 1 of them dead, 3 got hit. This lyric mirrors the actual number of victims in the shooting. 4 people were in the car, with Foolio being the only fatality, and 3 others sustaining injuries. The striking similarity between the song's narrative and the real-life event suggests that Ace might have had foreknowledge of the attack or was involved in its planning. These lyrics, when viewed in conjunction with the events of that morning, raise significant suspicions about Youngin Ace's potential involvement in Foolio's murder. Adding to the suspicion is Youngin Ace's release of the track Do It just hours after Foolio's death. The timing of the release, coupled with the song's violent lyrics and accompanying video, which depicts a scenario strikingly similar to the actual ambush, further fuels conspiracy theories about Ace's involvement. In Do It, Ace raps about catching and finishing off an enemy, with visuals depicting masked individuals in a brutal attack in what appears to be a hotel parking lot. The immediate release of this track following Foolio's murder suggests a celebratory taunt, which many interpret as an admission of guilt. The public reaction to the timing and content of Do It was polarized. On social media, many of Ace's followers interpreted the song and its release as a bold statement, with some celebrating the act. Comments on Ace's Instagram posts hinted at a sense of triumph among his fans, with remarks such as, "Yay, they fa show did it," and "Ace done got his favorite op," indicating a perceived connection between the music and the murder. The ongoing investigation into Foolio's death has been challenging for law enforcement as the feud between ATK and KTA continues to escalate. Sheriff TK Waters has publicly acknowledged the difficulty in managing the violence between these groups and highlighted the role of social media and music in exacerbating the situation. Sheriff Waters has emphasized the need for community cooperation in solving such high-profile crimes, noting that the glorification of violence in rap music complicates efforts to maintain peace. The investigation remains active, with police seeking any leads that could point to the perpetrators of the ambush. The murder of Julio Foolio and the subsequent release of Young Gin Ace's provocative track have had a profound impact on the Jacksonville community. The feud between ATK and KTA has not only resulted in numerous deaths, but has also created a climate of fear and retaliation. The public's reaction to the ongoing violence, particularly on social media, underscores the dangerous influence of gang-affiliated rap on community dynamics. The evidence strongly suggests a connection between Young Gin Ace and the murder of Julio Foolio. The alignment of Ace's lyrics with the details of Foolio's ambush, the suspicious timing of the Do It release, and the broader context of their violent feud point towards a calculated act rather than a random occurrence. In this 5-part series, we delve deep into the tragic death of Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio and explore the possible connections to his long-standing rival, Young Gin Ace. In Part 1, we focus on the night of the ambush that claimed Julio Foolio's life. On June 23, 2024, Julio Foolio, born Charles Jones, was celebrating his 26th birthday. The night began at an Airbnb in Tampa where Foolio hosted a pool party. Unfortunately, due to exceeding occupancy limits, he was forced to leave and relocate the celebration to the nearby Holiday Inn Tampa North. Foolio's social media was filled with posts promoting the party, which might have inadvertently alerted his attackers to his location. Foolio's lively Instagram stories documented the celebration with friends. He posted several updates throughout the evening, showcasing the party's vibrant atmosphere. The posts likely revealed his whereabouts to his adversaries, making him an easy target. Around 4:40 a.m., Tampa police received a 911 call reporting a shooting at the Holiday Inn. Officers arrived to find 2 vehicles riddled with bullets and 4 individuals struck by gunfire. Julio Foolio was pronounced dead at the scene, while 3 others were transported to the hospital with non-fatal injuries. Tampa Police Chief Lee Burkaw described the scene as chaotic, with paramedics aiding the injured and officers securing the area. Chief Burkaw stated, "We are working closely with federal and local agencies to identify and apprehend those responsible for this heinous act." Jacksonville Sheriff TK Waters echoed these sentiments, emphasizing the need to prevent retaliatory violence. Both chiefs highlighted the cooperative efforts to ensure the perpetrators are brought to justice. Witnesses at the scene reported hearing multiple gunshots. Hotel guest Jeremiah Claypool, who was staying at the Holiday Inn, recounted, "I only heard 1 gunshot, but apparently there were more." The extent of the gunfire is evident from the bullet-riddled cars left in the parking lot. Police are reviewing surveillance footage and urging the public to come forward with any information. This shocking event has left the community in fear and mourning. Julio Foolio's Instagram story from that night shows him enjoying the festivities with friends unaware of the impending danger. His girlfriend, Blanco Mani, confirmed his death in a heartfelt post, sharing a photo from their celebration earlier in the evening. The party, which started with joy, ended in a devastating loss. The social media posts from that night have become a poignant reminder of how quickly celebrations can turn tragic. Foolio, known for tracks like Voodoo, Dead Ops Part 2, and Play With Me, was a rising star in the rap scene. Born in Jacksonville, Florida, Foolio grew up in an environment marked by violence and loss, which heavily influenced his music. His career took off in 2018 with the release of Crooks and Slide, which garnered millions of views on YouTube and SoundCloud. Despite his success, Foolio's life was frequently marred by violence. In 2021, he survived a drive-by shooting in Jacksonville, escaping with a graze to his ankle. Despite these challenges, he continued to build his music career, becoming a prominent figure in the Jacksonville rap scene. However, his long-standing feud with Young and Ace often overshadowed his musical achievements, leading to multiple violent encounters. His social media posts reflected a life under constant threat, with Foolio mentioning numerous attempts on his life. The news of Foolio's death has sparked widespread reactions across social media and YouTube. Videos like "Florida rapper Julio Foolio murdered, lawyer confirms death," and "Breaking down the Julio Foolio death" have garnered significant attention, highlighting the circumstances of his death and the ongoing investigation. In one video, Young and Ace is seen reacting to Foolio's death on IG Live, adding fuel to the speculation about his involvement. Another video shows members of ATK allegedly celebrating the death of their rival, further intensifying the feud. Foolio's final hours were documented extensively on social media. His last post showed a man at the peak of his celebrations, completely unaware of the imminent danger. The party, initially filled with music and laughter, took a dark turn as tensions from the streets of Jacksonville seemed to follow Foolio to Tampa. Witnesses describe a sense of unease that crept in as the night progressed, culminating in the deadly ambush that left Foolio dead and his friends injured. This tragic event marks a significant moment in the ongoing feud between ATK and KTA. In Part 2, we will explore the history of this rivalry and how it has shaped the lives of those involved. In Part 2 of our 5-part series, we dive into the violent history of the feud between Youngin Ace and Julio Foolio, two prominent figures in Jacksonville's rap scene. This bitter rivalry has left a trail of violence and tragedy over the years, deeply affecting both rappers and their communities. The feud between Youngin Ace, born Kenyatta Bullard, and Julio Foolio, born Charles Jones, is rooted in their affiliations with rival gangs in Jacksonville. Youngin Ace is linked to ATK, Ace's top killers, while Julio Foolio is associated with KTA, Kill Them All. This conflict has escalated over the years, resulting in multiple shootings and deaths. The rivalry began to turn deadly in May 2017 with the killing of Zion Brown, Foolio's cousin. Brown was shot and killed on Jacksonville's west side, marking a significant turning point that triggered a series of retaliatory attacks. Local residents and community leaders recall how the tension between the two groups escalated following Brown's death. The community was already on edge, but this incident marked the start of a violent cycle that would engulf Jacksonville for years to come. In June 2018, Young and Ace was the target of a retaliatory shooting while celebrating his brother's birthday at a Jacksonville restaurant. Ace survived after being shot 8 times, but his brother, Trayvon Bullard, and 2 friends, Royale Devon Smith Jr. and Jerkaby Dashad Groover, were killed. This tragic event intensified the animosity between ATK and KTA. In interviews, Young and Ace has spoken about the profound impact this shooting had on him. He described the loss of his brother and friends as a pivotal moment that hardened his resolve and fueled his music with a raw and emotional edge. The pain and trauma from this incident are evident in his tracks, which often reflect themes of loss, vengeance, and survival. The feud further escalated through music. In 2021, Young and Ace released Who I Smoke, a diss track that controversially sampled Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles and named deceased members of Julio Foolio's crew. Foolio responded with When I See You, a diss track set to the melody of Fantasia's song featuring audio from news coverage of Ace's brother's death. These tracks not only fueled the rivalry, but also brought it into the public eye, with millions of views on YouTube. The lyrics in both rappers' songs often contain direct threats and references to real-life incidents. Young and Ace's Step Harder includes the line, "Tell the ops to come outside and slide for Bibby," a direct taunt aimed at KTA following the death of KTA member Adrian Gaynor, known as Bibby. Julio Foolio's When I See You similarly references the deaths of Ace's brother and friends, highlighting the personal nature of their music. The impact of this feud extends beyond music. Jacksonville has seen a significant increase in violence attributed to the rivalry between ATK and KTA. Community members have expressed fear and frustration over the ongoing bloodshed, while law enforcement struggles to contain the violence. The sheriff's office has made several arrests related to the feud, but the cycle of retaliation continues. Social media has played a crucial role in amplifying the feud. Both Young and Ace and Julio Foolio frequently exchanged threats and insults online, further stoking the animosity. Posts celebrating the deaths of rivals have become common, with each side glorifying their perceived victories and mocking their losses. Videos like diss tracks and rap feuds, the Jacksonville Rap War, and feud between Young and Ace and Julio Foolio is being fueled by viral videos, provide detailed analyses of the ongoing conflict. These videos highlight how the feud has evolved over time, driven by both real-life violence and provocative music. They underscore the tragic reality that the rivalry is not just about music, but has deep roots in gang violence. Understanding the depth of this feud requires a closer look at the gang affiliations. ATK, Ace's top killers, and KTA, Kill Them All, have been involved in a brutal power struggle for dominance in Jacksonville. This gang rivalry has been characterized by a tit-for-tat escalation, where every attack is met with a retaliatory strike, often resulting in casualties on both sides. The involvement of these gangs has turned a musical rivalry into a deadly street war. Local activists and community leaders have been vocal about the need to address the root causes of this violence. They point to systemic issues such as poverty, lack of educational opportunities, and the glorification of gang culture in media as contributing factors. Efforts to mediate between the factions have been met with limited success, as the deeply entrenched hatred and desire for retribution often overshadow peace initiatives. Other notable incidents in this feud include the 2019 drive-by shooting targeting Foolio in Houston, Texas, and the 2020 shooting that killed KTA member Adrian Gaynor, known as Bibby. These events have only deepened the enmity between the two groups. The 2020 shooting of Bibby in particular was a major flashpoint, with Young and Ace's subsequent songs referencing the incident and mocking KTA. Music industry experts suggest that the intense rivalry has contributed to both rappers' fame, but at a high cost. The sensationalism of their beef has attracted widespread media attention, with their diss tracks becoming viral hits. However, this has also perpetuated a cycle of violence, with each side feeling compelled to respond to the other's provocations. Experts argue that while the feud has boosted their profiles, it has also put their lives and the lives of those around them in constant danger. Social media reactions to the feud are mixed. While some fans view the rivalry as entertainment, others recognize the dangerous reality behind the music. Posts and comments often reflect the dual nature of the audience's engagement, balancing between fascination with the drama and concern for the safety of the individuals involved. The public's reaction underscores the complex interplay between entertainment and real-life consequences. The community impact of the feud is profound. Jacksonville has seen a rise in shootings and gang-related violence, with innocent bystanders sometimes caught in the crossfire. Local leaders and activists have called for peace, urging the rappers to use their influence to de-escalate the situation. Despite these efforts, the cycle of retaliation shows no signs of abating. Community programs aimed at providing alternatives to gang life are essential, but their success requires the cooperation of influential figures like Young and Ace and Julio Foolio. Local residents have shared their experiences living in the midst of this feud. Many have lost loved ones or have been forced to live in fear of violence spilling into their neighborhoods. The stories of these residents highlight the broader human toll of the feud, beyond the headlines and diss tracks. Their voices call for a resolution that goes beyond retribution and seeks lasting peace. The media, both social and traditional, has played a significant role in perpetuating the feud between Young and Ace and Julio Foolio. News outlets often highlight the most sensational aspects of their rivalry, focusing on the violence and provocative lyrics. This coverage not only brings more attention to their music, but also glamorizes the conflict, potentially influencing younger audiences to view gang violence as a path to fame. Media analysts and cultural critics argue that while the exposure can boost a rapper's career, it also reinforces negative stereotypes and perpetuates a cycle of violence. The constant coverage and online discussions can amplify tensions, as each side feels the need to respond to maintain their reputation and street credibility. Critics call for more responsible media coverage that highlights the underlying issues and promotes solutions rather than glorifying the conflict. In response to the ongoing violence, various community leaders and organizations in Jacksonville have launched initiatives aimed at mediating the conflict and promoting peace. These efforts include dialogue sessions, mentorship programs, and public awareness campaigns designed to address the root causes of gang violence. Community organizers believe that providing opportunities and support for young people is crucial. By offering alternatives to gang life, such as education and job training, we can help reduce the appeal of gangs and the associated violence. It's a long-term effort, but it's essential for the safety and well-being of our community. Some interventions have shown promise. Programs that bring together members of rival gangs for conflict resolution training have led to reduced tensions and fewer violent incidents. Community leaders emphasize the importance of sustained support and investment in these programs to achieve lasting change. The feud has taken a personal toll on both Young and Ace and Julio Foolio. Beyond the public persona and music, both rappers have faced immense personal losses. Friends and family members have been killed, and they themselves have been targets of violence. This ongoing conflict has shaped their music and their lives, often overshadowing their artistic achievements. Friends and family members of both rappers have spoken about the emotional and psychological impact of the feud. They describe a constant state of vigilance and fear for their loved ones' safety. Despite their success, the rappers' lives are marked by loss and the ever-present threat of violence. As the feud continues, the question remains, can there be a resolution? While the history of violence and retaliation is deep-rooted, there is hope that with continued community efforts, responsible media coverage, and a willingness from both sides to seek peace, a resolution can be achieved. The feud between Young and Ace and Julio Foolio has had a profound impact on Jacksonville's community and the broader rap scene. It is a story of violence and loss that shows no signs of relenting given the recent murder of Julio Foolio by Young and Ace in ATK. Things only seem to be getting more and more violent as time progresses. There are no signs of peace at the moment, and only time will tell if that will ever change. Thank you for joining us in this in-depth exploration of the history behind the feud between Young and Ace and Julio Foolio. In Part 3, we will delve into the legal battles and police investigations surrounding these incidents, shedding light on the efforts to bring justice and end the violence. For more updates on this story and other celebrity news, make sure to subscribe.